Lowe's knows how to help you get the most out of your store run. That's why members save more with My Lowe's Rewards. Earn points towards My Lowe's money on eligible purchases. Get access to member-only deals and free member gifts. Plus, unlock free standard shipping when you reach Silver Key status. So what are you waiting for? Join for free today. Lowe's. We help. You save. Loyalty program subject to terms and conditions. Details at lowes.com/terms. Subject to change.
Stop hitting snooze on new tech. Upgrade the whole team at Lenovo.com. Unlock AI experiences with the ThinkPad X1 Carbon. Powered by Intel Core Ultra processors. So you can work, create, and boost productivity all on one device. Win the tech search for business PCs at Lenovo.com.
Lenovo.
Where'd you get those shoes? Easy. They're from DSW. Because DSW has the exact right shoes for whatever you're into right now. You know, like the sneakers that make office hours feel like happy hour. The boots that turn grocery aisles into runways. And all the styles that show off the many sides of you, from daydreamer to multitasker and everything in between. Because you do it all in really great shoes. Find a shoe for every you at your DSW store or DSW.com.
On the podcast Really Know Really, join best friends Jason Alexander and Peter Tilden, along with experts, newsmakers, and celebrities, in a search for answers to life's most baffling, intriguing, and annoying questions. You know, those things that make you go, really? No, really?
I think there was a 17-year-old in Rhode Island who ran a candidate that was a deepfake.
Really? Wait, that's news to me. That's Really Know Really right there.
Really Know Really.
Listen to Really Know Really on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Coincidence? I think not. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere, even at 30,000 feet. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
No purchase necessary. VGW. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
This message comes from Greenlight. Ready to start talking to your kids about financial literacy? Meet Greenlight, the debit card and money app that teaches kids and teens how to earn, save, spend wisely, and invest with your guardrails in place. With Greenlight, you can send money to kids quickly, set up chores, automate allowance, and keep an eye on what your kids are spending with real-time notifications. Join millions of parents and kids building healthy financial habits together on Greenlight. Get started risk-free at greenlight.com/iHeart.
Hey, everybody. So when you get asked, what is Odoo, what comes to mind? Well, I'll tell you, Odoo is a bit of everything. Odoo is a suite of business management software that some people say is like fertilizer because of the way it promotes growth. But, you know, some people also say that Odoo is like a magic beanstalk because it grows with your company and is also magically affordable.
Ooh. But then again, you could look at Odoo in terms of how its individual software programs are a lot like building blocks. Whatever your business needs, manufacturing, accounting, HR programs, you can build a custom software suite that's perfect for your company. So what is Odoo? Well, Odoo is a bit of everything. Odoo is a fertilizer, magic beanstalk, building blocks for business. Yeah, that's it.
Which means that Odoo is exactly what every business needs. Learn more and sign up now at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
From the executive producers of Hell and Gone comes a new podcast investigating the serial murders orchestrated by South African cult leader Cecilia Stein.
She conditioned them to be monsters.
She was telling people the Bible says you must go and kill, but actually she was taking revenge.
We are all so horrified by the idea that a mother would sully her daughter in this way.
Listen to Queen Havoc and her murder cult on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
They say that you have to learn from the past to prepare for the future. That's never been more true than now. Sightings of unidentified aircraft are on the rise, with new eyewitness accounts, congressional hearings, and U.S. fighter pilots taking down 4 high-altitude flying objects under strange circumstances. The quest for answers has never been greater. Tensions escalated in late 2024 when unexplained drones began appearing in the New Jersey skies, sparking rumors and questions that no one could answer. But in late 2019, an equally bizarre phenomenon started unfolding over Colorado and Nebraska.
She said that there were 3 drones that came up beside her. One was to the right, one was directly above her, and one was to her left. And they followed her roughly about 9 or 10 miles. I think of the movie with Tom, whatever his name is, Tom Cruise, with all the little aliens, the world at war, or whatever it is. And that's
War of the World.
Feels like. Yes. It just feels like you're being watched by these machines.
Authorities are calling it a mobile command vehicle with antennas. And this morning there was a very active search for it.
There's one right over the top of me right now. Has to be about 300 feet in the air. It could be looking at me.
When they first arrived that night in late December, hovering over farms, I didn't know what would transpire, how it would all end, or if the end was actually the beginning of a much bigger story. My name is Gabe Lenners, and this is Obscurum: Invasion of the Drones. Chapter 1, Phillips County. It was late 2019, just days before Christmas. I was at the Burbank airport, ready to fly home for the holidays. I had originally gone to college to be a meteorologist, and I still loved to report on a good storm. However, an unexpected summer job shifted my path, leading me into a broadcasting career as a host and producer in Los Angeles, working with companies like Radio Disney, ABC News, and CMT. Like many people who moved to the city, I'm from somewhere else, one of those no stoplight towns you see from the sky while munching on pretzels or waiting for the flight attendant to bring you a drink. It's in Nebraska and called Imperial. There are 2 grocery stores, 1 coffee shop, and no McDonald's. It's a place where agriculture drives livelihoods and people talk more about the local weather than the latest fashion. DIA is the closest major airport to western Nebraska, so when I flew in, my parents picked me up in Denver and we drove east. In this part of Colorado, there are no mountains, ski resorts, or cities. Instead, the area is flat, with fields and rolling grasslands. But that time of year, everything was frozen. Once we'd traveled a couple hours in the car, we eventually crossed the state line. It was a couple nights before New Year's Eve. We were sitting in the living room after eating one of my mom's home-cooked meals when we heard a knock at the door. Through the living room window, I could see a uniform with a radio, flashlight, and gun holstered to one side. I turned the porch light on and immediately recognized who it was. The cop is a family friend, and whenever I'm in town, he'll drop by and tell a funny story or crack a joke. He's your typical laid-back small-town cop. But that night, he stopped by late. It was after 10 p.m., and there was concern in his eyes. He began telling us about giant drones lighting up the night sky and wanted to see if we'd noticed anything weird near our home.
I had what I believe to be a drone pass over me, and it was headed east towards Yuma.
Knowing I work in the entertainment industry, he thought this wild story may interest me as well. It had to be a hoax, but living in LA has taught me that fact is almost always stranger than fiction. So I grabbed my phone, hopped in the pickup, and headed out to investigate. It was 11 p.m. when I started to see what all the fuss was about.
I'm counting at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The brightest light that looks the biggest is low to the ground. And access on these remote country roads could be a challenge, but I'm going to see how close I can get.
I saw more lights in the sky than I could have imagined. This was no hoax. I wasn't sure what I'd seen that night, but I had to find out. I started making calls to neighbors and was told the objects were first spotted in Phillips County, Colorado, just over the Nebraska border, where some aircraft were said to be as big as small cars.
We live out in the country, so lots of empty fields. We actually live 14, 15 miles from town.
This is Sarah. She and her husband, Chris, were a couple of the first people to report these aircraft. It took a bit of hometown charm to get them to talk about what they witnessed. I've changed their names at their request.
What do you remember happening on that night of December 16th?
My son and I were at his band concert, so we were coming home. I would say it was probably about 9:30, and we were coming up our driveway, which we have our driveway is about 3/4 of a mile to our house, just a private driveway. We were driving up it, and as we got closer to the house, I noticed that there was a drone flying right above the porch, the front porch. Then it actually rotated around our house, almost looking as if it was peering in each window of our home.
Wow. Gosh, that's so crazy.
Yeah, when it's in your window, it's different. When they were all flying high up in the sky, that's one thing, but when they're intruding on your home, it's completely different. It flew for a very long time. It was a very high-tech machine.
What happens next? Your husband gets in his separate vehicle then and continues to pursue the drone?
Yeah, so he got in his pickup and he just followed the drone and it continued west. We just stayed in contact with him.
So then that's when I took off chasing it. There were several times where I was going 95 to 105. Pretty soon I'd be a mile, even 2 miles behind it. It blew me away how fast it could move. All of a sudden there were two drones flying in perfect unison, probably 50 feet apart from each other, one just a little bit higher than the other.
How big do you think this drone was that you saw?
It had to be at least a 5-foot wingspan.
You know, when you talk to law enforcement, what did they think?
They were a ways behind me or a ways away, and they just told me to just try to stay with it until it landed. I think I only had a quarter tank in my pickup when I took off, and I just about used it all up, so I just parked and shut my lights off, and I sat there for probably 20 minutes waiting to see if I saw any vehicles anywhere around, and never did see anybody.
After talking with Chris, I had way more questions than answers. I had no idea how strange this story was going to become. In all honesty, strange doesn't even begin to describe what I was about to discover.
Step into the world of power, loyalty, and luck.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
With family, cannolis, and spins mean everything.
Now, you wanna get mixed up in the family business.
Introducing The Godfather at ChumbaCasino.com. Test your luck in the shadowy world of The Godfather slot.
Someday, I will call upon you to do a service for me.
Play The Godfather now at ChumbaCasino.com.
Welcome to the family.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, everybody. So when you get asked, what is Odoo, what comes to mind? Well, I'll tell you. Odoo is a bit of everything. Odoo is a suite of business management software that some people say is like fertilizer because of the way it promotes growth. But, you know, some people also say that Odoo is like a magic beanstalk because it grows with your company and is also magically affordable.
Ooh. But then again, you could look at Odoo in terms of how its individual software programs are a lot like building blocks. Whatever your business needs, manufacturing, accounting, HR programs, you can build a custom software suite that's perfect for your company. So what is Odoo? Well, Odoo is a bit of everything. Odoo is a fertilizer, magic beanstalk, building blocks for business. Yeah, that's it.
which means that Odoo is exactly what every business needs. Learn more and sign up now at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
Are you hungry for the inside scoop of women's soccer?
I'm Sam Mewis.
And I'm Lynn Williams.
And we're professional soccer players, best friends, and the hosts of Snacks, the only women's soccer podcast hosted by active players that gets into the most recent news, gossip, and fun of the NWSL, the women's national team, and the delightful, delicious world of snacks.
It's a weekly show that features great guests from the world of women's soccer, recaps and previews of the biggest matches, and the two of us hanging out with you.
You can listen to Snacks on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Wasn't that delicious?
So good.
Your bill, ladies?
I got it. No,
I got it.
Seriously, I insist.
I insisted first.
Oh, don't be silly. You don't be silly.
People with the Wells Fargo Active Cash credit card prefer to pay because they earn unlimited 2% cash back on purchases.
Okay, rock, paper, scissors for it. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. No!
The Wells Fargo Active Cash credit card. Visit wellsfargo.com/activecash. Terms apply.
Chapter 2, The Rumor Mill.
All right, let's go in there. DJ's Bar and Grill.
The morning after first seeing the objects, I was restless. I'd spent most of the night scrolling through social media to see who else spotted the aircraft.
How's it going? How are you? Good. I'm gonna get some coffee too.
Do you take creamer or sugar?
Hi,
Shelly.
I'm gonna do a little. I'll do a little half and half. I'll do a
Christmas?
little cream in there.
There was one local farmer in particular I wanted to visit with, but before I did, I needed caffeine and stopped by a bar to grab a cup of coffee. You could probably guess what the topic of conversation was about.
You think they're aliens? I think the funnest one is the fact that we're missing a nuclear warhead. I like that one.
Is that what they're saying now, too?
There's a few individuals that have said, well, they've come down into their yard or looked in their house. Someone has to be automatically, or manually, taking over that control of that UAV for it to do that.
I hadn't heard about warheads or aliens, but I wasn't surprised to hear there were more wild rumors. I quickly grabbed my coffee, hopped in the truck, and took the back roads out of town.
It's freezing out here today. Literally out here in the middle of nowhere. I have no cell service. There's this county road and a small farmhouse right next to these fields. I'm supposed to be meeting this guy named Tim. I'm kind of like thinking about how this reminds me of that movie Signs with Mel Gibson. If I was by myself right here at night, there's no lights. This could get creepy. Good, how are you doing?
When I pulled up to Tim's house, I didn't know much, just that he and his wife may have experienced a few close-range encounters west of Imperial. You could tell Tim's a family man. There were toys around the house, and the farm dog greeted me right when I stepped out of the truck.
How does that make you feel that someone could be watching or at least surveying what's going on?
Drug or sex trafficking and all that kind of stuff has kind of been big news locally recently. And so we're, with kids, we don't have the police driving by every 20 minutes or anything. I mean, shoot, I don't even know if I've ever seen a sheriff drive by out here. That's just the rural Nebraska that we live in.
When Tim's wife saw the aircraft, she was worried.
Yeah, she was a lot more concerned, in case they're trying to find people and find kids to nab, like sex traffickers have gone extremely high tech. And the numbers of drones, I mean, the first reports we heard was 6 to 10, then we heard 16. Now we've heard 20 to 30. A friend of mine, he said 2 nights ago he had 20 flying over his house. And, we had 4 over our house a couple nights before that.
Tim was now the third person I'd spoken to who'd confirmed these drones, as he described them, were flying really low to nearby homes.
Yeah, they were about probably 300 to 400 feet is probably where they were. My dad flies ultralight airplanes. They're a small aircraft, but it's, a 30-foot wingspan. And it was about the same height that Dad flies when he comes over to see the grandkids. They were just over the trees, about 100 feet over here, and it was, they were up there. I mean, Dad's airplanes, they're gas powered. You can barely hear them when he's flying, putting along. And those drones, yeah, it was silent. You couldn't hear anything. You just saw the lights, basically, and saw them as they were headed west, basically.
Champion, Nebraska resident Dallas Bainey recalled a similar description.
Well, they were quiet, but they had definite two like spotlights coming out of the bottom of them. It was hard to tell the shape of them because it was dark, but you could definitely see the two spotlights coming out of each side. And I actually started seeing several of them just everywhere. Even the close one, I could barely make it out, but you just remember the lights, and it's not an airplane.
Dallas is as real as they come. He's one of those guys you just want to go have a beer with. We talked in his garage, which he's converted to a lounge area with a hot tub and flat screen on the wall.
When was the first time you started to see things appear in the sky?
Well, I was going out to actually flip hamburgers on the barbecue, and I just looked up and I was like, holy cow. So I'm yelling for the guys to get out here. So I did at least have a few people witness it with me, so I wasn't, people thinking I'm crazy. But I had some of the neighbors, they came out and were like, wow, by the time they got over there, it was just going over the lake. The geese were just going crazy. They freaked out. I mean, it just brings up more suspicion. You wonder what these drones are doing here and why, if they're thermal imaging or I seen something the other day on the news where a drone could actually take someone's temperature flying over, and I was just like, wow, who knows what they're doing or why they're here. But to be that size would cost probably millions of dollars. So I don't think someone definitely has some money that's backing this. To me, it seemed like they were looking for something.
If these unidentified aircraft were searching for something and hovering outside the windows of folks I'd grown up with, I couldn't let it go. One thing was for sure. There were many theories about what was happening in the skies over Colorado and Nebraska. Theories that prompted more questions. Why would someone be flying groups of drones at night? And why would they choose to do it here? I was driving down the road, processing all of this, when my phone rang.
Hello?
Making a voice note, I just talked to one of the local authorities. He did not want to be named as a source, but he told me that someone on his team talked to the FBI, and the FBI instructed them to shoot one of these objects out of the sky if they got the chance.
Coming up on Obscurum, Invasion of the Drones.
We were testing the ability to be able to tie remotely piloted vehicles to a mothership, and that was in the late 80s.
We've heard that there's a missing nuke and that they're looking for that.
With the green stuff, I'm a little, I'm like, oh, what if it's something like dangerous?
If you have any information surrounding the events detailed in this podcast or have your own similar account, please visit our website at obscurumseries.com and share your story. You'll also find exclusive behind-the-scenes content on the site. To connect with us on social media, you can follow at obscurum_series and at Gabe Lenners on all social platforms. Obscurum is produced by Imagine and Lenners Entertainment for iHeartMedia. This series is written, hosted, and produced by me, Gabe Lenners. It's executive produced by Ron Howard, Brian Grazer, Carl Welker, Nathan Clokey, Nikki Etour, and me. Additional production by Jacob Plew. Music and sound effects courtesy of Epidemic Sound. Brand management and digital design by Labyrinth Brand Co. Video editing by Alex Semikopenko. This project was mixed and mastered by Jacob Plew. Special thanks to Dan Bodansky, Josh Hiller, Keaton Stortz, Bryson Keyes, Ailey Birchfield, David Wasserman, Katrina Norvell, and my family. Obscurum Invasion of the Drones is available on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. Follow now.
Do you own a business that's ready to thrive? It's time to let Intuit QuickBooks take things like unpaid invoices and tracking expenses off your plate so you can take things to the next level. Intuit QuickBooks is an all-in-one business platform that can help with those day-to-day tasks like invoicing and expenses. Manage and grow your business all in one place. Intuit QuickBooks, your way to money. Money movement services are provided by Intuit Payments, Inc., licensed as a money transmitter by the New York State Department of Financial Services.
Are you still quoting 30-year-old movies? Have you said cool beans in the past 90 days? Do you think Discover isn't widely accepted? If this sounds like you, you're stuck in the past. Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. And every time you make a purchase with your card, you automatically earn cash back. Welcome to the now. It pays to Discover. Learn more at discover.com/creditcard, based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
Kroger brand products have the great taste you'll celebrate. That's why over 40 million people choose Kroger brand products, making them a true crowd pleaser. And with quality guaranteed, you'll love your choice or get your money back. Score Kroger brand products with savings you can cheer for and great taste you can't resist. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
When it comes to playtime, never let your squad down. Unlock elite gaming tech at Lenovo.com. Push your gameplay beyond performance with 13th Gen Intel Core processors. Upgrade to smooth, high-quality streaming with Intel Wi-Fi 6E. And maximize game performance with enhanced overclocking. Win the tech search and head to Lenovo.com.
Lenovo.